Welcome back, Red Talks. You already know where it is. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't, make sure you go over to that Spotify and check out the Spotify. And today we're back with another Rare Reactions. Yes, another Rare Reactions. And this week we're talking about the infamous Russel Brand. Russel Brand has been in the news again, and the media has been portraying him as a rapist. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Whenever the media starts to go on a brawl and call someone funny names, there's always a reason behind it. So I'm not a person to take anything without salt, so I always go and do my homework, as they say. And as I've done my homework, I realized that Russel Brand was talking hard, and I'm talking about hard. He went on a very, very staunch campaign against the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, even saying that in a video, they do some weird stuff to your video when you mention COVID. COVID is the biggest scam of history. I don't think there was a biggest scam that we've been scammed ever. But some people took the vaccine, like my mother, and nearly died, but they'll never talk about that. So, Russel Brand, let's listen to why they're attacking him, because they say this is the video why the media went on an all-out assault on him. Yeah?
Out of respect for you and your show, I've brought some facts.
Would you? If you like, they're actually...
You just get the fuck out of here. This is not the place.
I thought you'd like facts.
We love facts. I love facts.
I wouldn't have mentioned it. I'm English, and you know that politeness is our fundamental religion.
Yeah.
But they do pertain to this issue, so may I say some of them?
Please,
if they inconvenience you, I'll stop saying them. The pandemic created at least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than two-thirds of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election. Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion in profit in 2022. And may I just mention that finally, and this is also a fact, that you, the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis, where the interests of ordinary people separate from the interests of the...
Damn. No wonder why they're attacking him. Now, let me just put this out there to you. There's some things you can say and some things you can't say. And these are one of the unspoken rules of media. You see, whoever is making the most money, don't be talking bad about me. I don't need the people to be knowing bad about me, because I need to keep them in mind games. Yeah? The Matrix. So I saw a tweet that came with this, and it's by a guy called Jake Shields. Jake Shields says in a tweet, and listen closely to it, he says, Julian Assange releases videos of our military killing civilians, then was accused of rape. Russel Brand gets one of the most influential political shows, then he's accused of rape right before the election. Andrew Tate becomes the most influential man for boys 12 to 19 and gets accused of rape. Wait a second. Are they always accusing people of rape? Now, in another interview, in another video, podcast, I believe that Russel Brand came out and said... Russel Brand came out and said that he had a very promiscuous past with a lot of women, but it was all consensual. Now, I can't sit here and say that I was there to know every single detail of what's happening. But what I have come to see is that the rising alarming figures in false allegations on people nowadays, especially public figures. Now, people might say because the media's broadcasting things, that's how we're getting more information to things. But I would like to differ. I would like to say that people making these accusations know that it's easier to destroy men's lives than it's ever been before. Especially if your whole life is based on social media. And then if I put that out there about you, people will just gravitate away from you because people don't like to be around people that are labeled with those kind of titles. My thing is this, yeah, and I said this a lot, and I'll say this again. What should be the crime if a woman gets found that she was lying? Should she get imprisonment, or should there be like a physical punishment that is dealt to her? Because the men's lives that are destroyed by these false allegations, I think the harm it has on society is more impactful than a woman just actually lying. Just like the man that goes around and does these, who actually commit these heinous acts. I did think they deserve more than just prison sentences. That's my personal opinion. If a man rapes a woman and is found guilty, I believe that he deserves bow. But that's just my personal opinion, because he's taking away something from the woman that should never be able to get back. So with that being said, what should be the punishment for a woman that makes false allegations? And this is a question that I want everyone to start asking themselves, because we need to start putting more things in place so that it's not looked at as like a trend. Because there's some things that if they're left untouched, then it becomes more tainted. So if we don't talk about this, if we don't talk about these subjects, then what happens is they become a norm, when it's not normal for people to lie on other people's names, especially with that title there. That's a very, very evil title. Now, I saw a newspaper article and it said the timeline of him and when he done this and when he done that. So it's really important that as people that are critical thinkers, we start to critically think about everything that's happened to us. I'm not saying that there's not men out there that's doing bad stuff. I saw a video earlier on, I think it was this I'm Just Bait, yeah? And the guy was like, he tried to open a woman's door and then ran off. And they said there was another video of him following some woman and he was in a kid's park by himself. So there is men out there that are doing heinous crimes. And I definitely want to say that those guys don't deserve prison. They deserve something else. But we cannot say that's the majority of men. The majority of men, I believe, intrinsically want to protect women because we come from a woman, so we want to protect and love women. The problem that we're seeing nowadays in society is that a lot of people don't understand that men have voices too. And men refuse to be silent in this day and age. And men will speak up for themselves. And I will say this to any man, if you've been accused of anything, don't wait for them to paint narratives of you that are untrue. Speak for yourself. The one thing that they can hold you to, and anyone can hold you to in this life, is your silence. A lot of people tell people, be silent. There's a time to be silent, but there's a time to speak. And if you speak, regardless if the people believe you or not, speak your piece. Because if you don't speak and you stay silent, sometimes it could be seen as a sign of admission about these things. Does it make sense? Like what they done to Noel Clark. Like he hasn't been charged with anything and people have said that he done stuff, but not one police investigation, not charged with anything, but they tried to ruin his career. It's becoming notoriously known that men are getting finished with these things. And to all the women out there that's doing this, if you have sons one day, I hope it happens to your son and you see the effects of what that happens to him, that child that you love so badly, because it's a very evil thing. And, you know, I don't know if it's because of this, but I do know that I've done my homework and Russel Brand is actually at the moment trending, but not for the right reasons. So I believe that Russel Brand was a loved person in the UK media until his views never aligned with the media. So the media are painting him out to be this animal who goes around raping women. Just for the information, I think Russel Brand, if I'm not mistaken, is married and got children and a family. So you see how they're trying to bring your past to try and destroy your future, which is not true. And I love the way they say allegations. You know, like they're trying to throw out dirt on your name so that it stains you. But like I said to all men, don't be silent, speak up, speak your piece. We have the internet now. And if you are a man that's watching the show and you have done false allegations and you want to speak about it, then Rare Talks and our mental health group, support group that we have for men is here as well. Just DM me on Instagram on Rare Talks Podcast and we'll try to get in touch with you. As for all the men out there that have been falsely accused, I just like to let you know that you're not alone. and that there's other people that have been through it as well. Keep your head high and don't think of unaliving yourself, because you know a lot of things that people don't talk about is men's mental health and how men's affected by these things, like internally and mentally, and how it destroys their mental health, which is a decline of their life. So big up to all the people out there and all the men that are building themselves up from being falsely accused, because it's a hard thing. You know, we just had Benjamin Mendy that was falsely accused. There's so much men. I've got so many names of celebrities that have been tarnished. But right now we're talking about Russel Brand.
This isn't the usual type of video we make on this channel where we critique, attack and undermine the news in all its corruption, because in this story, I am the news. I've received 2 extremely disturbing letters, or a letter and an email, one from a mainstream media TV company, one from a newspaper, listing a litany of extremely egregious and aggressive attacks, as well as some pretty stupid stuff like my community festival should be stopped, that I shouldn't be able to attack mainstream media narratives on this channel. But amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies, and as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent. And I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play? Particularly when we've seen coordinated media attacks before, like with Joe Rogan when he dared to take a medicine that the mainstream media didn't approve of. And we saw a spate of headlines from media outlets across the world using the same language. I'm aware that you guys have been saying in the comments for a while, watch out, Russell, they're coming for you, you're getting too close to the truth. Russell Brand did not kill himself. I know that a year ago there was a spate of articles, Russell Brand's a conspiracy theorist, Russell Brand's right wing. I'm aware of news media making phone calls, sending letters to people I know for ages and ages. It's been clear to me, or at least it feels to me, like there's a serious and concerted agenda to control these kind of spaces and these kind of voices. And I mean my voice along with your voice. I don't mind them using my books and my stand-up to talk about my promiscuous consensual conduct in the past. What I seriously refute are these very, very serious criminal allegations. Also, it's worth mentioning that there are witnesses whose evidence directly contradicts the narratives that these 2 mainstream media outlets are trying to construct, apparently in what seems to me to be a coordinated attack. Now, I don't want to get into this any further because of the serious nature of the allegations, but I feel like I'm being attacked, and plainly they are working very closely together. We are obviously going to look into this matter because it's very, very serious. In the meantime, I want you to stay close, stay awake, but more important than any of that, if you can, please stay free.
Russel Brand, I respect that what he done. And the reason why I say it's good for men to do things like this is because if you do not speak, then the media will speak for you. If you do not talk, they will talk for you. Comment sections and interpretations and new videos and all of this and all of that will come out and they will speak for you. And the worst thing you can do in any time of life is have someone else moving their lips, but you're not the one talking. Trust me on that one. You don't want anybody to be moving their lips, but you're not the one talking. That's the most dangerous thing you can have right now, because not everybody has good intentions for you. And sometimes by making clear videos like this and concise, it gives people an idea of what's actually going on. Because many people will think, oh, this guy conspiracy theorist, this guy mad, this guy mad, this guy mad, this guy mad. Sometimes we're not going mad. We're actually onto something, and this is what's really happening. So, yeah, man. Big up to Russel Brand. I want to see more of him. I haven't seen Russel Brand for a long time, and that's how I know he's all shadow banned. This is the first time I've seen him in like 4 or 5 years, or 3 years, or 2 years. Like, why isn't his content like out there? Because that thing about the vaccine, bro, he taught me a lot. I learned a lot just from that clip. Imagine that I wouldn't have known none of that in that 1 minute, 2 minute clip. I learned so much. So they do not want this kind of information out there, bro. They don't want this kind of information, and someone like this to them is definitely a threat. When you're exposing that, you're a threat, bro. So yeah, big up to Russel Brand. Man, them stay free and be careful of who you lay down with. Record everything. Keep the messages. Don't delete messages. Take care. Rare Talks were out. Bow.